First up, we got Nicki Minaj. This feud between these two is so intense, it spilled over to real life, and the pair had an incredibly awkward moment at the VMAs. It started when Nicki tweeted in response to the nominations for the 2015 MTV VMA Awards. She was frustrated that she was not nominated for her video Anaconda. She said, quote, "When the other girls drop a video that breaks records and impacts culture, they get that nomination." As a side note, Taylor Swift ended up getting nominated that year and took Nicki's comment as a personal dig. However, her and Nicki did come to a truce after some time, when they discussed the real reason behind Nicki not getting nominated. At this point, you're probably wondering where Miley gets involved here. So a few weeks after Nicki's tweet, Miley did an interview with the New York Times where she spoke about Nicki's lack of nomination. Miley said, quote, "What I read sounded very Nicki Minaj, which if you know Nicki Minaj is not too kind. It's not very polite. I think there's a way that you speak to people with openness and love. You don't have to start this pop star against pop star war." This statement got tons of backlash, and it seemed that Miley was feeding into the angry black woman stereotype, along with saying that Nicki was too aggressive when speaking about her disappointment. Then things came to a head at the VMAs when Nicki came on stage to accept an award, and she directly called out Miley, who was hosting a part of the event. Nicki said, quote, "And now back to this bitch that had a lot to say about me in the press. Miley, what's good?" Miley added fuel to the fire in 2019 when she released a song called Catitude that included lyrics reading, "I love you Nicki, but I listen to Cardi." So clearly their relationship is still pretty tense. Liam Hemsworth and Miley Cyrus were in an on and off again relationship for a decade that included an engagement, marriage, and sadly a divorce. After the split, the pair were not on good terms, and sources reveal that Liam hated Miley afterwards. The bad blood apparently started when Miley moved on incredibly fast from their split. Quote, "Liam kinda takes a bad opinion of Miley at this point. He was really hurt by their separation." The pair split a few months before their official announcement, but Liam was shocked to see Miley out kissing Caitlyn Carter before the announcement was released. The photos of Miley and Caitlyn were leaked on August 9th of 2019. Then Miley and Liam announced their divorce August 10th to make sure the public knew that Miley was not cheating. Sources close to Hemsworth say that the speed in which Miley started the new relationship with Caitlyn Carter and Cody Simpson left him hurt. A source claimed that they hadn't talked much after their split, and he was hurt that she moved on so fast. According to Page 6, Liam was blinded by the news of their separation, which was announced while he was in Australia. Taylor Swift. Nobody is quite sure if the feud between Taylor and Miley was real, but sources exposed that Taylor said some shady things about Miley following her infamous 2013 VMAs performance. The pair got close after Taylor had a cameo in the Hannah Montana movie, but afterwards Taylor distanced from Miley. A source told Life in Style in 2013 that Taylor publicly referred to Miley's VMA performance from that year as, quote, "grotesque and disgusting." But Taylor's reps quickly clapped back at the lies, calling the report made up. But clearly Miley thought the shade was real, because she dished out some shade of her own in a 2015 interview with the New York Times where she seemed to call out Taylor's girl squad. Miley said, quote, "I'm not trying to be in the squad. None of my friends are famous and not because of any other reason, and I just like real people who are living real lives because I'm inspired by them." Next up, Katy Perry. Katy Perry threw some shade Miley's way after the pair shared a kiss in 2014. It's hard to tell if Katy was joking around or not, but Miley was very offended. When asked about their kiss, Katy said, quote, "God knows where that tongue has been. We don't know. That tongue is so infamous." This is clearly a reference to the fact that Miley was sticking her tongue out a lot and doing outlandish things like that around this time. Miley then clapped back on Twitter, writing, quote, "Girl, if you're worried where tongues have been, good thing your ex-boo is your ex-boo, cause we all know where that tongue has been." This was in reference to Katy's ex, John Mayer, who definitely has a reputation for being a ladies' man, if you know what I mean. Next up, Taylor Momsen. Taylor Momsen rose to fame on the hit show Gossip Girl, playing Jenny Humphrey, who was a cute, non-threatening character in the show. But over time, Taylor changed a ton and started to resent the family-friendly image that she portrayed on TV. During a 2010 interview with FHM, Momsen spoke of how she was up for the role of Hannah Montana, but ended up losing it to Miley. But she said that was for the best and she's happy about how things worked out, but decided to throw some serious shade Miley's way in the process. Momsen said, quote, "I'm not looking to be Miley effing Cyrus. I don't care about the fame, I do it because I love music. I'm not dissing Miley personally, however I do think the Disney bubblegum shit that the world is living right now is pathetic. I thought we passed that repression. I don't know Miley, but musically we're different. To compare us because of our age is silly." Miley never responded to the shade, but it's clear that Taylor is either very bitter or just really hates Miley. Next up, Cher, if you can believe it. Cher did not hold back with her criticism of Miley's 2013 VMAs performance, where she danced around the stage in a latex bikini and danced on Robin Thicke. When asked her opinions on the performance, Cher straight up said it was terrible. Cher said, quote, "I'm not old-fashioned. She could have come out naked if she just rocked the house. I would have said, you go girl. It just wasn't done well." Adding, quote, "She can't dance. Her body looked like hell. The song wasn't great. One cheek was hanging out, and chick, don't stick your tongue out if it's coated. Cher continued that it might have all been a publicity stunt to get people talking about Miley and her new look, but it seems that after reflecting on the comments, Cher actually regretted what she said, and said she was ashamed that she threw that much shade at Miley. Although Cher clarified that she does not apologize for what she said, and says she feels the next time she will just not share her opinions. Jodie Sweetin. Miley was called out by Jodie Sweetin's fans in 2016 after Miley posted a throwback picture showing Jodie partying, which was insensitive considering Jodie publicly came out as sober since that photo was taken. Although Miley was probably trying to share a sweet moment, Jodie's fans felt it was very insensitive that Miley was reminding Jodie of this unfortunate time in her life when she was struggling. When E! News asked Jodie about the photo, she took the high road, saying, quote, "I don't pay attention to the negative stuff. I have so much good stuff going in my life right now that I try not to pay attention." After all the heat, Miley edited the caption to read, "Current mood, hashtag Fuller House, only you freaks take this as shaming. To me it looks like Stephanie is having an effing gay old time." So clearly Miley did not understand the criticism and defended the photo as the pair were having a good time. Shanae Grimes. Following the release of Miley's viral music video for Wrecking Ball, Shanae Grimes called out Miley on Twitter, saying she needs to bathe after the gross video. Grimes tweeted, quote, "What the F is up with Miley's new music video? I mean, I don't know the girl, but if I did, I demand she bath twice, put on some clothes, and give her a big hug. She looks like she needs it." But that was not all. Grimes' husband, Josh Beach, also chimed in shading her music video and saying that Miley needs to be very wary of how her young fans will take it. Beach wrote in his blog, quote, "Miley's got a new video and to be honest, I like the song. The video is maybe a bit unnecessary considering her fans are aged between 10 and 12, but whatever floats your boat, I guess." Next up, Ed Sheeran. Following Miley's MTV VMA performance with Robin Thicke, Ed shared his very critical thoughts about Miley's dance moves. In an interview with The Mirror, Ed Sheeran referred to her dancing as stripper moves and not appropriate for her audience. Then when asked about her Wrecking Ball music video, Ed replied, quote, "Twerking is what exotic dancers do, it's a fact. If you go to an adult club, they twerk. You shouldn't be encouraging little kids to dance like that. If I had a daughter of mine, I wouldn't want her doing that." Adding, quote, "When I first heard Wrecking Ball, I thought it was a brilliant song, but the video distracts too much from it." But apparently after Sheeran said those strong words about Miley, he regretted it and wants to apologize for what he said to her. While speaking to Howard Stern, Ed said that he was pretty drunk from an after party when reporters came up and asked him about Miley. At the time, he thought he told Miley to stop with the raunchy dancing in a nice way, but he got tons of anxiety when he realized that he was really mean to her. He added, quote, "I said something along the lines of, 'Your voice is amazing, your songs are amazing, just stop twerking.' I didn't say it in the nicest way and I do genuinely love her music and think her voice is great." But it seems that Miley did not accept his apology because at the time he said some really rude stuff. While Miley was talking about her newest project at the time, Malibu, Billboard asked if her new album is, quote, "pretty singer-songwritery." No? Cyrus replied, quote, "Yeah, but not granola. I don't listen to Ed Sheeran and John Mayer and stuff." First up, Rita Ora. It's long been rumored that Rita Ora and Dua Lipa did not like each other, even though they have so much in common and even knew each other before they were famous. And after BB Rexa basically confirmed the feud, we have more details about why these women hate each other. Both women are immigrants of Kosovo, who grew up in the UK and even attended the same stage school and gymnastics club. It's also been reported that their families are even friendly. Their feud was made clear at the 2019 Met Gala, where both Dua and Rita were in attendance. A source close to Rita told The Sun that though Dua was looking up to Rita in the past, she has grown fed up of being compared to her. The source said, quote, "It's a shame, as they used to be very close, and Dua spoke a lot about how much she admired Rita. Dua even said she wanted to be just like Rita in the future. Now things have gone south dramatically and she's trying to distance herself, and she's making it no secret in the industry. Rita is desperate to avoid confrontation and went out of her way to make sure that they didn't come face to face." With the source revealing that Rita hates drama and did not want to have an awkward confrontation with Dua, however she was not going to let a petty feud stop her from going to the Met Gala, of course. The feud between them started way before Dua Lipa was famous. Since they grew up knowing each other, Dua reached out to Rita's sister, Alina Ora, for help with her career when she was just starting out. Apparently Alina refused to help, and Dua felt it was because her sister did not want Dua to become a bigger star than her sister Rita, which definitely did end up happening. This is not the only time they have butted heads. The feud continued when Rita Ora was replaced by Dua Lipa in an Adidas campaign. More recently, Rita tried to mend the relationship slightly, but Dua did not soften up. Rita posted to Instagram to support the Put Kosovo on the Map initiative to Apple, where she wrote in the caption, quote, "I would very much like to see Apple spread awareness by putting Kosovo on the map. Albania and Kosovo are full of great and beautiful talents, and I am very proud of my wonderful, strong, talented colleagues who represent our heritage. We share love, peace, and unity today with BB Rexa, Dua Lipa, Ava Max, and many others." Even though Dua was mentioned and tagged in this post, Dua did not comment any support for the initiative, even though every other artist mentioned in the post supported it in the comments and shared it to their own profile. So even though Rita Ora tried to mend the tension, it seems that Dua Lipa is not interested in being civil. Next up, Baby Rexha. Baby Rexha is in the middle of Rita Ora and Dua Lipa's feud, and she thinks the feud will most likely never end. She's always tried to keep the peace between the women, and she's even pushed hard for a collaboration with all of them, but it seems that Dua is standing in the way of this. While speaking to The Sun, she said about their dynamic, quote, "I have really tried. I don't know what's really going on there or what the drama is. I've tried to always be the peacekeeper and bring the girls together." However, shortly after this interview was published, Rexha walked back her words and claimed the entire interview was taken out of context, responding, quote, "It's absolute bull to put women against each other, especially those who I know are good people," saying that her words were not about their feud but more so about the competitive nature of the music industry, specifically the way women are pitted against each other. Adding, quote, "It's weird because I know how it is to be a girl and sometimes we can get really competitive. I'm not even talking about me, Dua, Rita, and Ava, I'm just talking about females in general. What happens is there's not enough women at the table." Baby added that because she believes the music charts are so male dominated, it leaves women musicians with an unspoken competitiveness between them. These comments came after the 2019 Met Gala, where it was widely reported that Dua and Rita avoided each other. Next up, Taylor Swift. We all know that Taylor Swift and Kanye West despise each other and have been in a long and heated feud since Kanye stole the mic from her in 2009. So how is Dua Lipa involved? Fans originally thought that Dua was a Taylor fan when she was pictured wearing some of Taylor's merch while doing a sound check. Taylor also took this to mean that Dua was a fan, and Taylor commented on this post, writing, quote, "I am screeching with joy." However, the love affair did not last long between Dua and Taylor because Dua later chose Kanye over Taylor when she was playing a game. The question was simply to choose Taylor or Kanye, and because Dua prefers Kanye's music, she chose him. Instantly, Taylor's fans were up in arms, and fans took it to mean that she chose Kanye in their long-running feud. So they started posting snake emojis all over Dua's feed and calling her a snake. Dua also revealed that she was DM'd threats against her life. Dua cleared it up on an episode of Watch What Happens Live, when she said, quote, "I wasn't thinking about their beef, I was thinking about their music, and Taylor is amazing, but I'm such a hip-hop fan that I probably would have chose Kanye over anyone." Next up, Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris may have exposed what a diva that Dua Lipa really is. At the time of the 2019 Brit Awards, Dua was in her prime and got tons of nominations for the show. But after the show, the Daily Mail reported that insiders claimed that she was a total diva at the award show. The Sun reported that Lipa was reportedly, quote, "furious after being given a dressing room close to other guests who were eager to talk to her. Apparently her dressing room was right beside the beauty spa, so tons of people were around this area before the show." However, the singer made it clear that she didn't want to be there after other guests kept heading in to say hi and wishing her good luck. Because everyone kept coming to talk to her, she reportedly slammed her door shut and took her name tag off her door so people would stop bothering her. What made her look really bad though was that Calvin Harris's dressing room was very close to hers, and he was openly welcoming people in and talking to everyone that wanted to see him. It was reported that Harris, quote, "made his dressing room a free-for-all and was letting anyone in to help him celebrate with a magnum of champagne." However, Lipa didn't seem to care about the supposed situation, as Metro pointed out that following the ceremony, she was, quote, "too busy getting down with her pals at the Brits after party." And finally, Dua Lipa herself. Dua Lipa got in some major hot water after it was exposed that she said the N-word in a song back in 2014. She sang a cover of a song and posted it online, and in the song the N-word was used, which she repeated. Lipa covered the song Smoke, Drink, Break Up by fellow singer Mila J back in 2014, and she can be heard saying the slur at a certain point in the song. After the clip resurfaced, Dua immediately took to Twitter to apologize for ever saying the word, writing, quote, "In relation to my 2014 cover, I never meant to offend or upset anyone. I didn't say the full word, but I can admit I shouldn't have gone there at all and that a different word could have been recorded altogether to avoid offense and confusion. I wasn't thinking it through at the time." Adding in another tweet, quote, "I always stand up for social justice and I am very sorry to anyone that I have offended." Most of her fans accepted this apology, but many did not. and a lot stopped supporting her after they heard her say the slur. First off, we got Matt Doran. We're not sure if Adele or the media is to blame for this one, but reporter Matt Doran got roasted by Adele fans after it was reported that she stormed out of their interview because Doran did not listen to her album beforehand. Australia's Daily Telegraph revealed that Channel 7's Matt Doran came to London specifically for this 20 to 30 minute interview in an over $600,000 deal. This interview was even more important because Adele was only doing press with a handful of media outlets leading up to the release. Reportedly halfway through the interview, Adele noticed that he was, quote, struggling to express an opinion of his own. Then she flat out asked if he had listened to the album, and when he said no, she walked off and ended the interview early. Sony later refused to allow footage of the interview to be used, and Doran was suspended for 2 weeks. This embarrassing blunder then went viral, with Adele fans roasting Doran online for days. However, Doran is sharing an entirely different story about this situation. He admitted that he didn't listen to the album, revealing to E! News that he was not aware that he was emailed a preview of the unreleased album before the interview. Apparently, the reps for the interview never told him about this, and he didn't think he would be getting one, adding, quote, "It was an oversight but not a deliberate snub. This is the most important email I've ever missed. I'm mortified and unequivocally apologetic." But Doran shut down the rumors that she stormed out and left the interview early, adding, quote, "To suggest that the interview was disrespectful or that Adele walked out is incorrect," adding that they actually went overtime and it was a great conversation. Doran also stood by the contents of the interview and said he is, quote, "devastated that her fans are being denied this interview, so it looks like we might never know the truth." Next up, Beyonce. After Adele took home the award for Album of the Year at the Grammys in 2017, instead of Beyonce, fans were really fed up and claimed that Adele was somewhat patronizing in her acceptance speech. On that night, Adele won all 5 of the awards that she was nominated for, while Beyonce only won 2 of 9 of her nominations. When Adele was announced the winner, she looked shocked, and immediately as she took to the stage, she flat out said that Beyonce deserved the award more. Her speech said in part, quote, "I can't possibly accept this award, and I'm very humbled and very grateful and gracious, but my life is Beyonce. That album to me, the Lemonade album, Beyonce was so monumental and so well thought out, and so beautiful and soul-bearing, and we all got to see another side of you that you don't always let us see, and we appreciate that. And the way that you make me and my friends feel, the way you make my black friends feel is empowering, and you make them stand up for themselves, and I love you, I always have." Although some fans found the moment completely genuine and heartfelt, many did not. Some fans claimed that if Adele really felt that way, she should have invited Beyonce on stage to share her acceptance speech. Some Beyonce fans even say that Adele could have just denied the award and forced the Grammys to give it to Beyonce. One fan tweeted after the show, quote, "Even Adele admitted that Beyonce should have won Album of the Year." In a backstage interview after the award show, Adele continued to express her opinion about Beyonce being robbed. Quote, "I felt that it was her time to win. What the F does she have to do to win Album of the Year? That's how I feel." However, some still felt it was all for show, and if she didn't win, Adele would not have been so vocal in her support of Beyonce. Next up, Peppa Pig. Easily the strangest beef Adele has been in was with Peppa Pig. In an Instagram live where Adele was promoting her upcoming album 30, a fan asked if she would ever collaborate with Peppa, and Adele savagely said no. Then later on during an interview with Capital FM, Adele was confronted by Peppa, who called her out for the comments. The interviewers asked Adele about her comments, then showed a clip of cartoon Peppa saying, quote, "Hello Adele, that made me feel really sad when you said you wouldn't collaborate with me. Why not? Don't you like me?" Adele was obviously shocked and asked if that was a real Peppa because Adele didn't recognize that voice as the Peppa that she had grown up with. Adele responded, quote, "But Peppa, I regret it. I regret it. I spent 3 years watching you. I really regret it, and anytime you want to go jumping in muddy puddles and sing Muddy Puddles, I'm with you, babes. I felt terrible the second I said it." So clearly that beef was cleared up, but as we know, Peppa is known to get in beef with other big celebrities. After the release of Donda, Peppa savagely let the world know that her album scored 0.5 ahead of Kanye's on Pitchfork. Next up, Damon Albarn. Musician Damon Albarn got together to collaborate on some tracks on Adele's 2015 album 25, but unfortunately it didn't go as planned, and the pair ended on bad terms. He even said in the interview that he will never collaborate with Adele again. In an interview with The Sun at the time, Albarn said, quote, "Adele asked me to work with her and I took the time out for her, and I'm not a producer, so I don't know what is happening really. Will she use any of my stuff? I don't think so. Let's wait and see. The thing is, she's very insecure, and she doesn't need to be. She's still so young." Albarn also described her new music as, quote, "middle of the road." Following his interview, Adele clapped back, saying, quote, "It ended up being one of those don't meet your idols moments. The saddest thing was that I was such a big Blur fan growing up, but it was sad and I regret hanging out with him." After how badly the feud developed, Albarn clarified in a different interview that his words were taken out of context and they were misinterpreted to sound mean, although he never clarified on which parts of the interview were false. So it seems like BS to me, and it's clear the pair do not like each other. Next up, Bruno Mars. Mars. Singer and producer Bruno Mars had some eyebrow-raising things to say about Adele after they collaborated on her song called All I Ask. He of course sang her praises for her amazing talent, but he also made sure to include that she can be a bit of a diva. He said in the interview, quote, "She's a superstar. She walks into a studio, she's got all this attitude, she's a diva. She's like, I don't want to do this, I don't like that." Then as soon as we hit a couple chords that she liked, we started rolling, and that's where we got that song from. But of course he praised how talented she is, saying that there was a moment when she was in the booth singing when the water started to vibrate. And of course he would love to work with her again. He says he's just waiting for her to call on him again. It's unclear if he meant that she was a diva in an endearing way, or if he meant to throw some shade her way. Next up, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is known for his controversial opinions on news and pop culture, and his stances on Adele have gotten him in hot water. In November, Piers published a scathing rant against Adele and her decision to include her son on her latest album 30, claiming that she shared her son's heartbreak and pain to promote her last album. Morgan claimed it was hypocritical because Adele had fought for her son's privacy in the past. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "Sorry Adele, you're a great singer, but sharing your young son's heartache and pain with your entire world to flog your album is shameful and rankest hypocrisy." Morgan claimed that Adele asked for privacy when it comes to her separation and other personal matters, but then she turns around and exposes those intimate details when it serves her to promote and sell albums. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "All this hypocrisy is par for the course with today's oversharing celebrities who love to reveal every prudent detail of their lives for commercial gain, while simultaneously demanding privacy." Adding, quote, "This is the same Adele who went to court to protect her son's privacy when he was just one, winning him a substantial 5-figure sum in damages over paparazzi photos." And lastly, Adele herself. Probably the worst scandal that Adele has ever been in was her scandal surrounding her Bantu knots. In the UK, they celebrate something called the Notting Hill Carnival, where people will share their pride about being a British person with Caribbean descent. And instead of celebrating the occasion how we would have expected, Adele shocked the world when she showed up wearing a Jamaican flag printed bikini and Bantu knots in her hair, a style worn traditionally by black women in the region. Her shocking 100-pound weight loss was easily overshadowed by the backlash she received, with people calling her move cultural appropriation. After waves of backlash, she told British Vogue, quote, "I didn't read the effing room." And in hindsight, she completely understands why the backlash occurred. Adele also decided not to take down the photo, a move which she says was to let people know she was not trying to brush it under the rug. Adele added, quote, "I could see comments being like, the nerve not to take it down, which I totally get. But if I take it down, it's me acting like it never happened, and it did. I totally get why people felt like it was appropriating." Following the scandal, Adele says she learned that Bantu knots aren't just a hairstyle and they serve a function and cosmetic purpose for certain hair types. She continued, quote, "I was wearing a hairstyle that is actually to protect afro hair. It ruined mine, obviously." First up, Joshua Bassett. If you're familiar with how Olivia Rodrigo rose to fame, you know that her former co-star Joshua Bassett was a big part of it. Olivia and Joshua starred alongside each other in the Disney series High School Musical, the series. Yes, that is the real name. And it was rumored that the pair were dating in 2020, but nothing was ever confirmed, until Rodrigo released her now hit single, Driver's License. The song took digs towards Joshua Bassett and fellow Disney alum Sabrina Carpenter, who was rumored that Bassett dated after splitting with Rodrigo. On Driver's License, Rodrigo sings, quote, "And you're probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt. She's so much older than me, she's everything I'm insecure about." Again hinting at Carpenter, who was 3 years older than her. This song came 6 months after Bassett released his own song on the Disney love triangle called Anyone Else. He said, quote, "How am I supposed to think about anything else? How am I supposed to go on keeping this to myself? I'm done pretending I want anyone else, anyone else, anyone else." He later confirmed that the track was written about falling for a friend who was unavailable. Olivia clapped back at his song in Driver's License, singing the lyric, quote, "I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. Guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me." Neither of the three stars have confirmed that they have been in a relationship, but from Instagram and paparazzi pictures, it seems that Rodrigo and Bassett were an item in 2020, then shortly after Bassett moved on with Sabrina Carpenter sometime around June of 2020. After being called out on the song Driver's License, Bassett released another song right after called Lie Lie Lie, clearly addressing the claims that Olivia made in the song. When speaking about the inspiration behind the song, Bassett said, quote, "I wrote Lie 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 after I found out a friend had been lying about me behind my back for a long time. It always sucks to hear that someone you thought you could trust would throw you under the bus when it benefits them." One line in the song reads, quote, "Oh, I know you're lying through your teeth. You told them the lies that you told me. I've had enough of it this time." Next up, Sabrina Carpenter. Another person at the center of this Joshua Bassett-Olivia Rodrigo feud was Sabrina Carpenter. And of course, we know that Olivia hinted at her a few times in her song Driver's License, specifically when she spoke about a blonde girl who was older than her. After both Rodrigo and Bassett released songs on the situation, Carpenter felt it was her time to share her side. So she released her single called Skin, where she also makes some clear references to driver's license. Carpenter sings, quote, "I'm not asking you to let it go. You've been telling your side, so I'll be telling mine." Then she sings in the chorus, "You can try to get under my skin while he's on mine. I wish you knew that even you can't get under my skin if I don't let you in." Carpenter even referenced the infamous blonde girl line, responding, quote, "Maybe you didn't mean it, maybe blonde was the only rhyme." However, even though this is a clear response track, Carpenter denied that the song was about Rodrigo. When asked about it, Carpenter said, quote, "Skin isn't calling out one single person. Some lines address specific situations, while other lines address plenty of other experiences I've had this past year. It also shows that many things have actually gotten under my skin, and I'm still learning not to give other people so much power over my feelings." Carpenter also praised Driver's License and spoke about how great of a song it is. Next up, Courtney Love. One celebrity who definitely hates Olivia Rodrigo is Courtney Love, and she took out her anger on Instagram and Facebook in a series of posts. The feud between them started when Courtney posted a side-by-side comparing Rodrigo to her band Hole's album cover, Living Through This. Courtney captioned the shady post, quote, "Spot the difference, hashtag twinning." Rodrigo played off the situation by commenting, quote, "Love you and live through this so much." But clearly Courtney didn't want this to be blown off, and she wanted some sort of apology from Rodrigo. So Love commented back, quote, "Olivia, you're welcome. My favorite florist is in Notting Hill, London. DM me for deeds. I look forward to reading your note." We assume nothing more happened because Love then took to Facebook to throw more shade. Love posted a long rant about Rodrigo and her label Geffen, which also released Love's album Living Through This. Writing, quote, "Does Disney teach kids reading and writing? God knows. I suppose I thought it was meant to honor Live Through This. No credit given where due, that's ass." Adding, quote, "Let's see. Yes, this is rude, rage-inducing. Honey, if I had $1 for everyone this happens, I'd be rich." Many of Love's fans supported the outrage and claimed that Rodrigo had a history of ripping off other artists. However, many fans also came to Olivia's defense and stated that the crying prom queen is a common trope in movies and music, with it originating in the movie Carrie. The whole singer, however, shut down all commenters and defended the Live Through This cover as her own wholly original idea. Rodrigo did not comment further. Taylor Swift. Olivia Rodrigo is a huge Swiftie, and she said on many occasions that Taylor has been a huge inspiration to her. But some say she's gotten a bit too inspired, and she's actually stolen from Taylor on her recent album. One track where this became prevalent was on Rodrigo's Deja Vu. There were so many similarities between this song and Taylor's song Cruel Summer that Rodrigo was forced to include Taylor and her co-writers on Deja Vu. The writing credits for Deja Vu now include Taylor Swift, Jack Antonoff, and St. Vincent. According to Rolling Stone, the trio were added to the song's metadata on Spotify and Tidal's music streaming services, with credit given to them for the bridge of Deja Vu. Later in interviews, Rodrigo admitted how influential Taylor was to her on that song. Swift and Antonoff were also given credit for another track from Sour titled One Step Forward, Three Steps Back. This song is very similar to Swift's New Year's Day, co-written by Swift and Antonoff from Swift's 2017 album, Reputation. Taylor fans are also suspicious of Rodrigo because she's claimed to be a huge Taylor Swift fan many times in the past. However, she's also been friendly to Kim Kardashian, who is an enemy of Taylor's. Olivia sent a PR package to promote Sour, including a letter saying, quote, "Thank you so much for supporting my music. It means the absolute world. I just adore you. I wanted to give you a few goodies to celebrate the release of my first album, Sour. Sending you and your fam so much love." This was sent to Kim. After Rodrigo sent Kim the PR package, Rodrigo's Instagram was flooded with snake emojis because Taylor fans felt that Olivia was betraying Taylor. Although other fans did come to Olivia's defense and claim she is allowed to promote her album any way that she wants to. Neither Taylor or Olivia commented on the situation further. Next up, Paramore. Yet another band that Rodrigo has been accused of stealing from was Paramore. Specifically, Rodrigo's song Good For You sounds like Paramore's Misery Business. Olivia has been an open fan of punk rock and Paramore, so it's not hard to think that she was inspired by the band. Rodrigo has also listed Williams as one of her many idols in songwriting. After this story blew up and she was accused of ripping off the song, Olivia added Williams and her ex-guitarist Josh Farrow as co-writers on the song. Reps for both parties confirmed that Olivia and Paramore were in talks before she made Good For You, and they were on the same page that the song was an interpolation, which is when an element of a previously recorded song is re-recorded to put into a new song. One fan actually had a theory about how the song came to be and speculated that the two songs could actually be combined into one if we listen to the lyrics.
The user explained, quote, "Guys, big theory on the lyric combo of this mashup, and good for you." Olivia sings about how torn up she is post-breakup and how fast the guy recovered. Misery Business is about Hayley Williams harboring a grudge against a popular girl who stole a boy that she likes and the vindictive pleasure she felt after stealing him back. The mashup combines the narratives into one, with Olivia filling the role of the popular girl who initially stole the boy and Hayley filling the role of the emo girl who got him back. Rodrigo bagged her second #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 Songs chart with Good For You, so clearly all the hoopla around the song was worth it. And lastly, Elvis Costello. The last case of Olivia stealing from another artist was Elvis Costello. On Olivia's song Brutal, she was accused of stealing a guitar riff from Costello's song Pump It Up. When the song was first released, Twitter user Belly Edwards tweeted, quote, "First song on the album Sour is a pretty much direct lift from Elvis Costello." In response to The Guardian's report on Rodrigo being accused of plagiarism, Elvis Costello then decided to set the record straight himself, and he responded back by tweeting, quote, "This is fine by me, Billy. It's how rock and roll works. You take the broken pieces of another thrill and make it a brand new toy. That's what I did." It was nice to see Costello defending Rodrigo here, but it didn't stop his fans and many others accusing her of not being an original artist, rather just ripping off other artists and putting it all on her album, Sour.